Hello, welcome to the Reality Vomit Podcast, an extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. As always, I'm your host, Mac Taylor, and today we're going to talk about more Big Brother Canada 9, episode 16, the veto episode. And we're going to do a little bit of best game, worst game at the end, and maybe a little bit of feed discussion. Not a lot. Nevertheless, here we go. So, Vic feeling really good with the noms right now, not knowing that she's the potential backdoor plan. She likes the idea of Ro or Tara going home. And then Beth, when she leaves the room, Beth does more of her bad dance moves because she is happy with, sending Vic home. Well, at least to jury. Now that we are in the jury stage of the game, which I like smaller cast, I like smaller juries. So, only 7 votes. You need 4 to win. And Tara she just can't let Ro and Vic, the plan there, go down. If the noms stay the same, Ro's going home. If Vic goes up, Vic's getting backdoor. But instead of just letting that happen, Tara just has these emotional breakdowns about it. And I understand being on the block is difficult. But the more and more you fall apart, the more and more people aren't going to want to work with you. And people already don't like Tara because of the way she treated Ty and Jed the past couple of weeks. So she's really not doing herself any favors. And Tina's not doing a great job of talking her off that ledge either. So, Ro and Brey, they feel confident about the plan, but Jed is really pushing Ro and trying to save Vic. Him and Ty, and if we're talking about what's the best thing for Ty and Jed, Vic staying is great. But Vic has spoken numerous times about wanting to come after Beth because Beth is in her way of being just her and the guys. So Beth is doing what's best for Beth's game, not what's best for the Triangle's game as a whole. And I'm glad she is. Now, she is so wishy-washy on it, so back and forth on it, that it's annoying. But at least for the time being, she's on the right path. And Braden also kind of helps that a little bit, just with those reassuring conversations he's having about it. Kiefer, though, he's so fixated on getting Ro out that he's not handling his relationships with Tara and Tina. He's kind of letting that slip because he's so focused on Ro and working with the guys that he's not really keeping track of all of his options. And you hate to see someone like Kiefer who could be in a better spot if he just prioritized things a little better. So the Ghost Peppers are finally mentioned on television, which it's Vic, Beth, and the boys. Vic's going to bring this up a lot in the episode. I'm loyal to the Ghost Peppers. I'm with the Ghost Peppers. I'm all Ghost Peppers. Which, I think she is loyal to Ty and Jed, but she would cut Beth. Especially if that meant getting her in the final 3 with the guys. So, Beth is making a good assumption here because not only will Vic favor the guys, but Ro will target the guys, and if one of them goes home, it's not bad for her game. Because not only is that, a better chance of her making it to the end, but that's a guaranteed vote for Beth at the end of the game. If both Ty and Jed are sitting on the jury, she has 2 votes already. That's very crucial, and I hope she's really thinking about that. And I'm pretty sure if she's sitting next to Tara or Brey, she would have Keith's vote as well. So that's 3 jury votes. Beth can potentially win this game with how she handles the next couple of weeks. Jed's also really happy he's closest to Beth. They woke up together, have this little cutesy moments. It's been less of a throuple thing with them and more of a Jed seems has won out with Beth because Ty just kind of drifted away, did his own thing. I know he was getting a little flirty with Braden too, and he hasn't really solidified anything with anybody. So he's been more kind of roaming, while Jed's kind of like tried to sink into one place. So we get to skip the dishes to save either Tina, Tara, Ro, or who's the fourth person? Brey. Ro is saved by Canada from slop. Two-time champ for the skip the dishes pass. And Kiefer's like eyeballing him while he's eating. And it's like, I think it's this thing of Kiefer hates Ro so much. And clearly Canada has saved him twice. And Keef's like wondering, like, what's so special? Why does Canada keep saving Ro? Like, Ro's such I hate Ro. It's like he's eyeballing him with these like death glare of like, how dare Canada like this guy? And I'm like, Keef, Ro's the underdog right now. People like an underdog story. It's common sense. So Keef also then runs all the information Tina and Tara tell him to the boys. And this is why Keef's in a bad spot, because he always runs information back and forth and doesn't necessarily think about who you should run information to and when's the right time to necessarily do it. He just runs it willy-nilly. And when you're just letting information just go left and right, you don't gain anything from it. You need to use the information at timed intervals to progress yourself further in the game. Nobody in this game is really good at doing that right now. Like, nobody this season has been good at withholding information in a timely manner and giving certain information when it's needed. Nobody really has shown that skill. So Keef's also upset that Braden has been in Beth's ear all week. Because Braden has been a nothing in the house until just now. And they're like, well, why is Brey getting to talk to Beth about it? Why is Beth considering what Brey says? She should be thinking about what we say. We don't want Vic to go. That's three of us right here. Why are we even having this conversation? And I'm like, well, Kiefer, because it's not your HOH. When you were HOH, you did something you thought you had to do in taking out Kyle that the guys didn't want to do because the guys apparently never, think about things clearly. And, now Beth's going to do what she needs to do. And you just need to respect that. And either way, you're benefiting, Kiefer, from this happening, I know Vic was kind of your ally, but, like, also, I know you don't really care that much. Like, you're cool with voting her out, so what's the problem? So Jed, Ty, Keef, they're very fixated on Ro, and I think that's their problem. Yes, Ro's a target, but he's won the veto. That's said and done. Move on. Don't just focus on Ro. Look at what's happening in the game, because sometimes Ro may not be the obvious target. So we get V dresses a giant thing of corn. So Corny V is hosting the barbecue veto challenge, sponsored by Weber, and the winner not only gets the veto but a grill. So the winner of the season gets $10,000 in grill and grilling accessories. Try saying that 10 times fast. And the winner of this veto gets a grill. So Weber's just throwing money at BBCAN. And BBCAN happy to sponsor the hell out of them. So basically the idea of this task is you got to look at where the food's set up in the grill. You got to toss your food. Like, you got to toss the corn in a hole. And you got to toss your pineapple rings on a thing, on like a stick. And then you got to toss your wieners in a bun. And then you got to go around there, take a giant spatula, flip, 3 things of corn, 3 wieners, and 3 pineapples onto the grill, and then arrange them in the order that they were on the first grill. There's a lot of steps to this challenge. So it involves like memory. You got to use a little bit of, hand-eye coordination and strength to try to precisely land those things you're throwing. There's some decent amount of there's a mixture. There's a mixture of things in this comp. It's fun. And Ro and Brey seem to be doing the best. They seem to be having they're ahead of the pack, so to speak, for most of this competition. But Ro wins his 3rd veto in a row. The rowboat keeps rowing, and I'd like to take this moment to thank Rose's parents for giving birth to an absolute champion, because he's on his way to being a veto king here. I believe Kevin Martin has the record for most vetoes in BBCAN, but couple more vetoes and he's he's James from BB6 level for veto king. And Beth's happy the plan's going down, but again, she's so wishy-washy. She's like, I don't know if I can do this to Vic, but it's a good move. And I'm like, Beth, just stick to your guns. Everything is falling into plan perfectly. Don't fuck it up. And Vic, last minute, tries to toss Tina under the bus, because it does, like, if you throw the Vic plan aside, it does make sense to put up Tina and Tara together because they're a duo. That does make sense. And as the Grim Kiefer says, he's ripping those duos apart. But Vic is her plan, has been her plan, and should continue to be her plan. Because it'd be real easy for Keith to tell Vic, like, hey, Beth considered backdooring you. And then it's even worse for Beth later on. So, you've already talked about it. People already know about this. It's time to initiate it. Now, and then they also talk about Vic's like, well, I want a backdoor row. And I'm like, there's not a lot of backdoor options left. We got 8 people left. You only got a couple rounds where this is going to work. You know what I mean? So, the especially since we're heading into the double, the chances for backdoors are starting to wind down there. So Vic talks about how much she hates backdoors, which is very ironic considering what's about to go down. And Tara breaks down, even though Vic is going up. She's like, I just feel so guilty. And I'm like, Tara, everything is going your way. Shut the fuck up. Like, that is your problem, Tara, is you don't know when to stop. Things are going just fine, and you got to keep going and going. It's like if you're playing cards, and you got an 18, and you ask the dealer to hit you again, and you're like, girl, you're going to bust. Like, stop. It's very annoying because she just can't let things happen well. She's got to just keep fucking talking and backing herself in a corner. And if she goes home this week, if she manages to, even though Vic is the clear target, go home this week, it is 100% her fault. So Vic promises Ty and Jed, she's with them, reassuring them, and Beth's like, this is hard. And I'm like, Beth, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. So Roe takes himself off the block with the veto, and Vic is put up, and Beth talks about, you've made a lot of lies, you've done a lot of crazy shit in this game, and it's time you hit the block. And it was a good speech. And so now we have Tara and Vic on the block heading into the double, and at least at the moment, looks like Vic will go home. So we're going to do best game, worst game, and then we're going to transition into the spoiler talk. So, if you don't want to wind into the spoiler talk and you just wanted to hear about the episode proper, go ahead and jump out now. See ya on Friday for the Thursday double eviction episode talk. There'll be a big talking point there. There's going to be a lot to discuss. There's going to be a lot to go over. So, I'll see you then. If you're okay with spoilery talk, we'll continue with best game, worst game starting right now. So, the big changes, like I said, were going to happen from last week. I'm going to give best game this week to Beth, even though she's hell-bent on making me conflicted about it, because she keeps going back and forth, and on the feeds has been like, well, should we take out Vic? And I'm like, you put her up, Beth. She's never going to forget that. Take her out. Finish the shot. You don't start to punch someone in the face and then pull back and shake their hand. You fucking punch them in the face if you're going for it. She's making a good move. She just needs to stick to her guns more. Stop letting Ty and Jed make you think about all options and just go with the plan. Because the more you talk about other options and people hear about that, the more sketchy you look. The more untrustworthy you look. Number 2 and 3 is Jed and Ty. I considered putting them lower. Like they're potentially going to get targeted in the double. I think if they don't win HOH soon, their numbers coming up, but they're still in a decent spot especially Ty. Ty's got a good social game, but I gave them the 2 and 3 spot because of if things continue the way they have been, they could squeak by at least through the double. Number 4 is Brey. He bumped up a lot this week because he's done a lot of great social work, and I don't think anyone's putting Braden up anytime soon if either side wins. Jed and Ty may put him up, but I don't think he's the target. Roe's the target, and then after Roe, I think Tara's the target. I don't think anyone's looking at Braden right now, and that's great because he's really going to start to sink because build those social bonds and make plays when you win comps. So I'm liking Brey's odds for the next few weeks. At number 5 is Tina. She dropped quite a bit because she kind of let Tara just run amok, especially with the house meeting and stuff. You should have calmed Tara down a little bit, especially when she's having her breakdowns and stuff. You need to reel her in. Tara can be a great weapon if you use her like that, but Tina just lets her walk around all willy-nilly doing whatever she wants to, and it hurts Tina's game. And she hasn't really just hammered home those social bonds. She hasn't done the work. Braden's done more work this week than Tina has, and that's that's a shame. So yeah, she's at number 5. I think she's still going to go very far in this game, but she's got to do a little more work if she wants that W at the end. At number 6 is Roe. I think Roe has played this game well. It's just he's had to win multiple veto competitions to get where he's at. And, there's going to come a time when you can't win, you're not going to win that veto comp. You can't win every single veto comp. You can't count on that. And for a majority of the House, Roe is a clear, concise target. And the rest of the House would be okay if he was on the block to let him go. So the Roe show needs to be careful not to go out the dodo. So he's at number 6. Number 7 is Keith because he's mishandled his Tina-Tara relationship. Vic's probably going home this week. And he's so fixated on Roe, he can't see what's going on around him. He's played a very sloppy week, and if he's not careful, he's going to end up just being a nothing in this game. Number 8 is Spicy V. I did put her above Tara because she's at least tried to back herself out of this backdoor corner. She didn't just take her ball and go home. She's fighting, but at the same time, the house meeting was handled very terribly. And she admits to some things, but still tries to lie about other things. The move she needs to make is just be honest, lay everything out on the table, and promise the loyalty to Ty, Jed, Beth, Keith moving forward. Wipe that slate clean. Let's move forward. She didn't quite want to let go of all the lies she's been spinning. And because of that, she's probably going home. But the only reason I put Tara at 9 is because Tara should not even be mentioned as someone that could go home this week. Should be a clear, concise person sitting next to Vic just to wave her goodbye, and that be it. But it's not, because there's still a chance, even though it's probably going to be Vic, there's still a chance it could be Tara because of how terrible she treated the guys past couple of weeks and how she just doesn't let things go. She just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and then people just get annoyed and say, all right, whatever, Tara, I don't want to be around her. And it's all completely and utterly her fault. So, Tara, if she just try to chill out a little bit and, take a different approach and just kind of, if you're the pawn, don't make a lot of waves so things will change. Just keep track of your conversations and try to navigate through the week without, rocking the boat. That's what you need to do. And she rocked the boat. So, in the house meeting, it didn't really look good for anybody because Ty, Jed, and Beth were defending Vic, and Tina and the rest of them were defending Tara, and Roe just lied a whole lot, but that was fine because I kind of liked the way he did it. Tara and Vic screamed at each other a bunch, and there was a lot made out of a bag because I guess Vic wanted to throw Beth's bag over the balcony. And so this whole Baggate thing was coming out, and there was just a lot of F-bombs being thrown. There was a lot. It was a decent House meeting. I'm loving the House meetings this season. I'm loving this season in general. And then also Ty, Jet, and Beth keep being so wishy-washy. It's like, I wish you guys would just make a decision and stick to it instead of being so shady. So that's kind of what's been going on in the feeds. It's been a lot of just talking in circles of like, maybe we'll take out Tara. Maybe we'll take out Vic. Maybe we'll take out Tara. Maybe we'll take out Vic. Maybe this is why we should do this, and this is why we should do that, and this is why we should do this. And it's all just become, it's a whole lot of nothing. But nevertheless, it's a lot of talk. So that ends the coverage. Like I said, there's only a little bit of feed stuff to talk about. Not a whole lot of it. So we're heading into the double. Tomorrow we'll be discussing the double eviction and probably just the episode. Probably not any feed talk going to be on there because the double is going to be so much to cover. I'm trying not to have these episodes go for super long. So, we'll talk about if Vic or Tara goes. We'll talk about the new HOH, the veto, and then the subsequent second juror. All that good stuff heading forward. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Until then, stay safe. Most importantly, stay nerdy.